So by now you should have tried out problem A. So the steps I just want to kind of go over with you quickly just to make sure that you got it correct. The first thing that you should do is isolate the variables. So you want to get all of your variable terms over here to the left and get all your constant terms over on the right. So that's why I subtracted 3 on both sides. Step 2 is going to be complete the square. So this is where I drew those blanks. I've got x squared minus 8x plus blank is equal to 8 plus blank, okay? Come over to the side, you're going to actually complete the square. This is the b divided by 2 squared. For this problem, b is negative 8. It's the coefficient of x. So negative 8 divided by 2 squared, that would be negative 4 squared, which is 16. So I added 16 to both sides. You can see them right here. So I made a perfect square trinomial over here on the left-hand side. Well, think about it. Factors of 16 that add up to negative 8. Negative 4 and negative 4, right? So I factored my trinomial into a binomial squared, x minus 4 squared, okay? And I set that equal to 8 plus 16, which is 24, okay? Step 3, solve by the square root method. This is what you did last week. Took the square root of both sides. So that gives us x minus 4 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 24. I'm going to move the 4 over to the right-hand side, so I added 4 to both sides. That gave me x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of 24. Okay, now on this one, think back to multiple weeks ago where we simplified radicals, right? So we're coming back to that again. Simplifying by looking at factors of 24, and we want to find a factor that hopefully has a perfect square in it. Now 24 itself is not a perfect square, but what about 6 times 4? 6 times 4. 4 is a perfect square, right? So when I factored this, I factored 24 into 6 times 4. 6 is going to stay underneath the radical because it's not a perfect square, and I don't have any perfect squares that are factors other than 1, so it's going to stay under the radical. And then I took the square root of 4, which is 2. All right? Now at this step, students a lot of times are tempted to add and subtract the 4 and the 2 here. But remember, back when we were simplifying radicals and adding and subtracting them, we can only add and subtract radicals if they have the same number underneath the radical. Well, this 4 does not have a square root of 6 after it. So you can't add or subtract these together. Instead, we're just going to split them into our 2 solutions. We have 4 plus 2 square root of 6 and 4 minus 2 square root of 6. And that's where our quadratic crosses the x-axis, okay? All right, we're going to move on to example B on the back side. I'm going to show you how we can actually apply this process of completing the square and get some extra information out of our quadratic.